It's that time of year again. It's Halloween. Year, man, Halloween just does not feel as epic as it used to be. When it comes to wrestling and Halloween mixing together, it doesn't always pay off. We get some funny moments, but majority of the time we get some really stupid moments.
Like
But
Cesaro with a pumpkin on his head?
yes, that was one of them. But today we are bringing to you the first ever Haymakers Halloween special. I don't see what's so special about it considering what we have here, but what we have for you is firstly, we're going to do a movie review, and I guarantee you it'll probably be either better or worse, but we have for you WWE's first ever movie from WWE Studios, which is their step into making a horror movie, and I figured why not be the perfect time of year. We bring to you See No Evil. More like see a better fucking movie, am I right?
Pew, 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 pew.
Ooh.
Although it should be noted that this wasn't the very first one, because, it was like Scorpion King and like...
Yeah, but this is like their
Rock-
first major one.
Yeah, like they had a bunch of like kind of crappy rock movies, but like, yeah, this was their first kind of stepping out from that and trying to do something else, and it was like this. All right.
So yeah, of course, I am Toon Critic, and I have with me here
Nikki V and
Spooky, scary skeletons send shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul, seal your doom tonight. Spooky,
You
scary
fucking
skeletons speak with such a screech. You'll shake and shudder in surprise when you hear the zombie shriek. We're so sorry, skeletons, you are so misunderstood, blah, 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 and shit. I'm gonna stop right here because this movie is garbage.
yeah.
good thing you stopped, because I was trying to figure out how to kick you out of the call.
Also, I'm Calcos, but who cares?
So, See No Evil. It was made in 2006, directed by Gregory Dark, and what it's most notable for is Kane.
Kane's in it and shit.
Also to note, this movie did spawn a sequel, but we're not going anywhere near that. And I already saw it, and it's shitty, so we don't need to go near it.
Aren't there
Hey.
3 of them?
No,
No,
there's
there's
only
only
two.
two.
Thought there was one released last year.
Well, that was
the
See No
second
Evil
one.
too.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But yeah, like, to be fair, Kane makes a really good serial killer. Like, if you were to just see Kane on the street one day, and you'd be like, yeah, that guy could probably be a serial killer, because he's like 6'10", and he's got the forehead that kind of protrudes out a little bit and casts shadows over his eyes, so he's got kind of a really creepy look to him. So, like, good casting decision at the very least for Kane. So I'd buy it.
So the movie starts with these two police officers who are investigating this old abandoned house, and they find a woman that's got her eyes ripped out. That's...
And then Kane kills one of them with an axe, and then gets shot in the head.
While chopping off the arm of the second one.
So yeah, a lot happens in the opening scene, and it really gets you hooked in right away. So it's definitely one of those movies that has a good intro for the theme of the movie, and then from there, just gets really, really bad.
Yeah. But yeah, like, after that, it cuts to a few years later. There's a bunch of, like, the guy who has, like, one hand, he's now running this juvenile corrections facility, and he takes a bunch of inmates from the juvie to this old abandoned hotel that they're going to try and fix up and repair and try to turn into a homeless shelter. And if they do this, then they might get their sentences reduced. So they basically all go over there. So, like, it's not just like, ooh, we heard about this spooky apartment, let's go check it out. Like, there's reasons for them being there.
Yeah, but can I note how incredibly unrealistic this whole thing is? Just a few changes could have made it a lot more realistic, but no. Like, okay, look. I'm gonna be really real here and tell you something a little personal. I've been to jail. I spent a few weeks in jail.
Whoa.
Yes, this is a thing that has happened. I did spend a few weeks in jail. I can tell you right now that the kids in the movie would not be wearing street clothes. They're wearing street clothes in the movie. No, they would be wearing either gray or orange prison clothing. That much is for sure. 2, they would have been shackled at all times that they are not working. And 3, there would have been more than just one police officer and a counselor watching watching them. In fact, they're not even watching them at night when they sleep. They're down in the lobby hanging out and shooting the shit.
Like, they let him get away with a lot of shit.
That never would have happened. Dude, if I was one of those inmates, that in real life, that never, ever would have had happened. That was the dumbest shit in the world.
Yeah,
it's so dumb that they. Sorry. It's so dumb that they actually managed to get actual fucking drugs smuggled into the hotel for like the dumbass kids to like get high and everything.
Yeah, it like there was really no reason why it was just like, hey, can we escape? Like, can we just run away? There's like one guard, and
They've thought about that.
They might as well have. They wouldn't have gotten fucking killed.
Hell, the friggin' two of the inmates get in a fight on the bus, and the police officer breaks it up and threatens to turn the bus around if they don't knock it off. That bus would have turned around if fucking immediately. Okay? There's no way they would have continued on after something like that.
Yeah. The police officer is not their fucking dad, and they're not going to fucking Yellowstone or some shit.
Yeah.
Nah, I think what would have ended up happening is he probably would have just let them fight and then just see, oh, well, they'll learn eventually.
Like,
or something like that.
The whole thing is a mess in that regard.
Yeah, and that's just the intro. The characters that we're introduced to, I don't care about. There's I can't even remember some of their names. I think one was like a fucking Richie or
that's the only name that I remembered is Richie, the computer hacker or the guy that committed computer fraud. Because when they introduce each of the characters, they tell you what crime they were convicted of. And Richie, the guy in the striped shirt, was convicted of computer fraud. And he's the only guy's name that I remember. Like, I have notes that I wrote down for the movie so that way I could remember each of the key points. And I always called them, like, black guy, black girl, girl in the red shirt, girl with the tattoo thing. And then I called the guy with the buzz cut hair, the guy in the black shirt, Mr. Douche. Because all of the kids are pretty goddamn douchey, as is the horror movie trope. But this guy is the douchiest of the douche, to the point where he tries to rape the red shirt girl.
Yeah.
Great characters. One roof for all.
That is a thing. Oh, by the way, spoiler alert. Of course, if you're watching this, you really don't give a shit. He lives! He lives! As a matter of fact, he's portrayed as arguably the strongest character physically and mentally in the entire movie. I'm like, this is a dude that is a douche to everyone, tries to rape someone, and is portrayed as their savior.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like, normally in a good horror movie, like, you would get some catharsis out of the fact that you know that this guy's probably gonna not only die, but probably get the most violent death out of all of them. And nope, he lives. Fuck it. We don't know how good storytelling works.
We haven't really
just
even
look at our
gotten to
wrestling
Kane yet.
product.
Yeah, before we get to Kane, I want to touch up on something we missed. The hotel is watched over a caretaker, an elderly woman. Again, we don't know her name. Who gives a fuck? So that's a detail. She's the one that's kind of running the program and made the deal with the juvie hall to get the program going so they could work to fix up the hotel because they want to make it, as Nikki said, a shelter for the homeless. Which is a good idea in theory, but if you've watched the movie, you know the hotel is one of those things that should have been condemned and demolished a long fucking time ago.
Perfect place for a serial killer, though.
Yay!
Yeah. Like a one Mr. Jacob Goodnight, which, weirdly enough, did they say his name at all in the entire movie?
I think they may have said Jacob, but I know they never referenced his last name, which is Goodnight.
Yeah, that's kind of a weird feature because, like, Jacob Goodnight is a solid name for a serial murderer because, you know, especially one that like does what he does and rips out people's eyeballs.
Fun fact, actually, the movie's title was supposed to be The Goodnight Man, but then it was changed to Goodnight before being See No Evil.
You know,
useless
it was
fact,
called,
whatever.
You want to know why it was called See No Evil, right?
Because you can't see when your eyes are taken out.
Hey! Because that's Kane's calling card, basically. He takes his victims and rips their eyes out, and it's incredibly gruesome in the movie. I mean, I have a hard time calling this movie a horror film. It's a gore porn slasher flick from the grindhouse days of the 70s. That's what it is. It is a grindhouse movie through and through. This movie would have been fucking perfect in a drive-through of the 70s, but that's about 30 years too late. It's not in the right time period, and it just doesn't fucking work in today's
standard
cinema.
procedure for WWE storytelling.
Pretty much. But I do give this movie some credit that while the pacing is one of the issues for me, but the one thing I do like about it, I do like how stupid it is. I liked watching this and riffing it, kind of like what we did with WrestleMania. I watched this and I'm like, okay, he's gonna die. I commentated on this movie by myself, and it was still kind of funny to me. And it's not a very long movie either. It's only about less than 90 minutes. So
it's 80 minutes. The runtime is like 79, 80 minutes. It's very short.
Yeah. So
Which I guess
it's not like you're wasting your life on it. Well, maybe the Calcos, but
yeah, I was about to say, at least it knows that you're probably not going to want to be here for too long. So it's just like, okay, let's just get this shit over with. Bing, 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 bing. Dead, except the ones that should have died but didn't.
All right, so how they introduce Kane is Richie and Black Guy. I apologize I apologize if that sounds racist, but this movie kind of deserves it. So
it's like nobody knows. Like, these are horror movie murder victims. Like, who gives two fucks?
Okay, so Richie and Black Guy. Fuck it. I'm just
Tyrone,
gonna call
Jerome.
I'm just gonna call him Black
okay,
Guy.
That's a little bit.
Oh, jeez, that's awful. Okay, so
I
basically,
apologize.
He okay, you know what? I will call him.
Just call him fucking Black Guy and let's go.
No, Morgan. I'm gonna call him Morgan. Okay.
Okay.
Morgan. He is a master at picking locks. I think he's in jail for shoplifting. I can't remember. But the guy Richie found out about a safe that has a whole bunch of money in it. The guy who owned the hotel was very rich, had his stash in there. So he learns about the safe and about a bunch of hidden passageways in the hotel that can lead him to the hidden safe. So they band together and look for it, and they find a dead homeless dude in there, and they get kind of freaked out, and they run out of the passageways. Then Kane comes out of the working elevator. It works. The fucking elevator works. Fuck it, I don't care. He comes out with a meat hook and chain, meat hooks Richie, drags him into the elevator, and is just, they just kind of disappear.
Yeah. That's Kane's signature weapon in this. And it's another fun fact that I should probably bring up. When WrestleMania 23 was, I think it was WrestleMania 23. When this started coming out, they really started bringing up the whole see no evil thing to Kane's character. And it was amusing because he had a match with Great Khali at WrestleMania 23, and he brought like the whole chain thing into it. He tried using it a few times. And before then, too, I think it was, oh, wow, I'm an idiot. The one thing that also this movie is well known for, May 19th. You guys remember that? The whole Kane going crazy over May 19th?
Oh yeah, the Big Show fucked it up that one time.
I can't remember. I think, isn't that like the day his parents died in the fire or some shit?
Something like that, but they were using it to promote the movie. But anyway, back to the movie. The meat hook is like his signature thing. You know how every horror icon has their thing. Like, you know, Jason has the machete, Freddy has the claws. Jacob Goodnight has the meat hook, and you know it kind of works for him. It's not a very super powerful like weapon, but it gets the job done.
Yep. Kane also uses an axe too.
Yes,
he is a very versatile serial killer. So
yes.
The other thing is he doesn't talk through this. He gets one line in this though, like
one line, 2 words,
and that's it.
Yep. Oh, by the way, real quick back to WrestleMania 23. Didn't he lose that match?
Yes, he did.
Okay, so they had a guy who's starring in a fairly big budget WWE film. Like, I think the budget for this was like $8 million, but this is still kind of a big something that the WWE is advertising, and they have him lose.
Even though he low blows Khali with the chain, he still gets choke slammed and loses.
Yay!
Wow.
Okay, so basically the police the guidance counselor, I think that's who she is, gets in the elevator and wants to go to the second floor because the caretaker realized that the kids are out of their rooms. Oh shit, they need to go get them, round them up, and put them back in their rooms. So she tries to go to the second floor and the elevator keeps going up. And then Kane shows up and kills the fuck out of her and then gouges her eyes out. So that's the first on-screen death, and it's probably the only horror movie trope that they avoided. A black person didn't die first. Quite incredible, isn't it? Like it has all of the other horror movie tropes. It has a group of kids at a haunted place. All of the kids are completely unlikable douchebags. Yeah. It has all of the tropes.
They have drugs and sex and, like, criminal records and all that shit.
Yeah.
So, the two black characters, I think, they finally get up with the officer, and they explain to him what Jacob Goodnight looks like, and that's when the officer's just like, oh, shit.
Also, I just remembered Mr. Douche is there, because he is.
Yeah, so they're just like, yeah, Jacob Goodnight's this huge wrestler-looking dude, who killed our friends with a meat hook in an elevator. And the officer's like, oh shit, I thought I killed this fucker. Turns out I didn't. Typical horror movie cliche number 57, whatever.
Yeah, guess what? He lives. You lose.
Yeah.
And then the officer gets meat hooked in the throat.
Yeah, that was...
That was gruesome.
Yeah, that is one thing that you can say about this movie. It, like you said, it is fucking meaty, let's call it.
Yeah, there are some pretty gory moments here.
Yeah, and it's fairly, like, there's not a lot of computer effects in it. It's mostly like, or it didn't look like there was anyway. It was mostly just like with regular effects. It looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Like in that opening shot where they find the lady with the no eyes and it kind of zooms in to like her cavities, like that was
freaky.
Yeah.
Yeah, they make good use of practical effects in this, I think.
Yeah, it's some good stuff there, but yeah.
Okay, so the other guys, fucking Mr. Douche and the white girl and the Hispanic dude and a whole bunch of other... No, I can't fucking... They all smoke a joint. And at this point, I must say, Kane has captured the girl in the red shirt, but he keeps her alive because she has a whole bunch of religious symbolism on her. She's got she's got tattoos of the cross. She's got a necklace of the cross of Christianity, and there's actually a lot of symbolism in this movie about Christianity, and you'll find out why Kane keeps her alive later. But he keeps her alive and keeps her in a cage and shit like that, and Kane is spying on the other guys, and the Hispanic guy and another one of the girls go off and have sex, or at the very least they try to. This is where we learn that the beds and a lot of other places are tripwired. So if you do something wrong, like if you sit on the bed or if you trip the wire, a bell rings off in Kane's HQ, so he knows where you are.
Ooh,
clever.
That's actually pretty cool.
It is, but still, don't speak highly of this movie, okay?
All right. Hey, credit where credit is due. It's like this movie does do some things interestingly.
Yeah. Also, Kane captured Richie too, but instead of keeping him alive, he gouges his eyes out and he dies.
Yeah, because he doesn't have the religious stuff.
Yes. And Kane, this is when we learn through flashbacks that Kane is obsessed with his mother because his mother punished him a lot and actually in his adolescence kept him in a fucking cage.
That's fucked up.
Kept him in a cage and tried to tempt him with playboys and shit. So his mom was very religious and kept him in a cage and tried to keep him from masturbating and all this other shit. It's bad. We don't know exactly why she does this at first, but we'll learn that later. Anyway, the kids are taking forever to just stick the thing into the opening, and Kane interrupts them by going through a two-way mirror with his bare hands, and the kids lock themselves into a room, try to escape via fire hose.
Yeah, and... Oh, is this the one where they were trying to, like, lower them down the out the window.
Yeah,
and
with the fire
yeah,
hose.
yeah.
Okay.
So the girl is going down the fire hose, and the guy is kind of slowly pulling or like giving her ropes or hose so she can get down. But then she stops and, oh hey, there's Mr. Goodnight, how you doing? And he pulls her back up and then drops her, and then like her hand. Oh, this is the vegan girl. I think this is the vegan girl.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah, because
I remember
she
this
hits,
part.
She hits the ground a little bit. Like she doesn't like splat, but her hand hits the ground and just breaks everywhere. Just
Oh, it's gruesome.
Yeah, and it only gets better from there. It just turns out that there's a bunch of stray dogs that are around there, so they fucking eat her.
Yeah, the
while
vegan
she's hanging there.
The vegan gets eaten. Ha ha.
Yeah.
Suck it.
So now Kane finds the douchiest kids, who are the Mr. Douche and the one that he wants to get with, which is hilarious because the one he wants to get with found Mr. Douche while he was trying to rape Red Shirt Girl, which there's a shower scene right before that with Red Shirt Girl, and the only reason it's there is A, so you can get a small piece of ass, and B, to set up a partial rape scene, and it's like, fucking why?
She's not even that good looking either. I guess I can kind of see why Kane would go after this girl.
Well,
Kinda looks like
no,
Lita.
that's right. The shower scene is important because that's when Kane sees her tattoos. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, there
Yeah.
is reason. Never mind.
Yeah, this isn't just to show a little bit of TNA.
Well,
I guess
there wasn't any T. It was just A.
The only time TNA shows up in a WWE thing.
And then Matt Hardy loses the championship after like 4 days of having it.
Holy shit, that was dumb!
That was really fucking dumb.
Okay,
What the fuck?
real quick, like, let me just say something real quick about this. Okay, for those that don't know, Matt Hardy won the TNA World Heavyweight Championship in a triple threat match involving Drew Galloway and Ethan Carter III with Jeff Hardy as special guest referee. Jeff Hardy was, I think, EC3's bodyguard or like some shit, I don't know. But Hardy ended up winning. And then 4 days later, or like 2 days later on YouTube, of all places, they say that Matt Hardy has to relinquish the TNA World Championship because EC3 filed an injunction saying that the odds were stacked against him. And wow, that is just dumb. Like, anytime lawyers get involved in wrestling shit, it immediately just becomes stupid as fuck. Like, oh my god.
Can't be any stupider than this movie.
Like,
Yeah, fair enough.
but still, Matt Hardy got his first ever world championship. That should mean something.
Ugh. Anyway, back to the movie. The douchey girl and Mr. Douche, they meet up with Kane, and Mr. Douche has a pipe that he's been bringing along the whole time, and he hits Kane, kind of stuns him, giving them a chance to hide. And the girl had a cell phone with her and was talking to her sister on the phone. And while Kane's looking for them, it rings. And so Kane's able to find the girl. Kane lifts her up on the wall, and this is the scene that I actually had to look away. I couldn't watch. Kane takes the phone, looks at it, and I was thinking he was going to answer it and say something, but he doesn't. Instead, he just force feeds her the phone, and it goes down her throat, and she dies. I couldn't watch that scene. I seriously couldn't. It's like the scene. It's like the scene in Silence of the Lambs where Hannibal starts eating the guards. It's that scene. I couldn't watch that scene either. Even though I was able to watch the "Would you fuck me? I'd fuck me so hard" scene, no problem, which goes to show what I'm okay with.
Calcos is...
That was brutal, though.
We're learning a lot about Calcos here today.
Well, here's the thing. Like... Look. The gruesome thing in Silence of the Lambs, I turned away because it was just too gory. But the scene with "I'd fuck me so hard" is a train wreck. You can't stare, but you can't look away.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she dies in incredibly gruesome fashion, and then Kane adds her eyes to his eye collection because reasons. They find more tripwires, and then Kane finds Mr. Douche. Mr. Douche gets fucked up, but doesn't die. And then I think the black kids escape through the elevator shaft and they find Kane's headquarters.
Oh yeah. The douchey guy and Morgan have been looking for a safe throughout the entire hotel because they figure, oh yeah, like there was a fire here and like there's a safe with this dude's fortune. And I'm like, okay, where the fuck would he get anywhere near a printer to print out pages of something about a hotel? That makes no fucking sense because I guarantee you they wouldn't let you go near a hotel if there was something in it with pages on how to get into the fucking room.
Moving on.
So yeah, they find out about the safe. And if I remember correctly,
there's money all over the walls. Kane took
yeah.
the money from the safe and plastered it all over the walls.
Yeah.
Why did he do that? I don't quite remember why he did that.
I don't think they ever explain it. It's just there. But they find the safe, and that's where they find the red shirt girl. And the whole time, Kane's obsessed with her. We know it's because of the religious imagery, but we don't exactly know why he doesn't kill her.
Yeah.
Also, Kane starts masturbating to her.
That's
the scene I had to look away from.
That's
well, it's not even that bad. He's not masturbating. He's just rubbing his thigh. Okay.
Yeah,
Source?
No, it's just the image of Kane jerking off is not something I want in my head.
Thank you for putting it in my head, though. I really appreciate it. Y'all are good friends.
Kane, a WWE wrestler, owns an insurance agency, is a big fan of rib eating contests, and professional masturbator.
Anyway.
I hope you know this.
This movie is so awful. Anyway, moving on. Caretaker comes in and asks Kane why he hasn't killed the whore yet.
Yep, and guess what? It's like, hey, that's her mom. That's his mom.
It's his mom. So we get more in-depth flashbacks, and as it turns out, Kane's had a pretty fucking rough life. Like, Kane was locked in a cage, tempted with pornographic magazines, had his head shoved into the showers to cleanse him of his sins, and his mom
was basically the mom from Binding of Isaac.
Yeah, they captured the girl, a girl, tied her to the bed, and she taught him to gouge her eyes out, and that's where everything comes from, and so the whole time, his mom is explaining that he's going to become the hand of God. So his goal is to basically wipe out all religious blasphemy in the world, starting with people with cross tattoos.
Yeah. And the thing about this is that the reveal kind of comes out of nowhere. We aren't given really any indication about, like, you know, how creepy the caretaker is. We have no real hints, and
dude, I figured that out fucking immediately. I don't know where you're coming from.
Well, I didn't figure it out up until maybe around, like, right when it was about to happen. I'm like, wait a minute, is it? Oh, okay. It took me fucking long enough.
Yeah, like when I was going through it, I was like, she's probably the mom. I don't know.
Also, black guy Morgan gets tased in the throat by the taser he got from the cop, and he's screaming the whole time. And I don't think that's how it works. But then he dies.
Yeah, from everything, every time I've seen somebody get tased, they're just like, and they're like, they don't talk, they just like spaz.
Well, they can scream. They can scream. I've seen people that get tased get scream, but in the throat, I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think the throat would seize up first.
Probably.
And Kane rebels against his mother, but he fails, and then Kane can speak, and then, in another very gruesome death, Kane throws his mom against a wall, and she gets impaled in 3 different places and dies.
Nice.
Yeah, that's probably not going to do well for him.
I thought it was pretty cool how they did that. Like, even though Kane gets one line in this, give him a fucking Academy Award for that delivery, though. Like, seriously. Kane's the best part of this whole fucking movie.
Oh, yeah. Like, that's the case with a lot of horror movies. Like, what's the best part of Nightmare on Elm Street?
Freddy Krueger.
What's the best part of Halloween?
Michael Myers.
What is the best part of the one with Jason Voorhees?
Friday the 13th. And that's Jason Voorhees.
Exactly.
All right, what's the best part of Silence of the Lambs? Hannibal Lecter. What's the best part of Jacob's Ladder? Not Jacob. It's basically hallucinations that he has. But yeah, the best part of any horror movie is always the monster, the villain, the guy who always wants to fuck everybody up. So Kane is obviously the star, but Kane is definitely better than this movie, really. He is.
Yeah, like, the rest of the actors are just fodder, basically, for him to, like, murder. But, like, he puts in a solid performance, and I'm a little bit surprised that there haven't been other studios that have come to him and said, "Hey, you want to be like another monster guy?" And
He's
like,
perfect for it, I think. I think when they had this movie in mind, they definitely had Kane as like the big part of it, because Kane fits the role perfectly. As like, he's tall enough, he's got the look, the way that he portrays himself in WWE is spot on to how you would probably have like a serial killer.
Yeah, and plus this was 2006. This is like 10 years ago, back when Kane was in like his like mid to late 30s, I want to say. So back then he could still move pretty well. So like, I'm not saying he can't move all that great now, but like back then he was really mobile for a guy his size. So he could really get around.
Better than Isaac Yankem.
Why would you talk about Isaac Yankem?
Because I felt like it. Anyway, moving on. Mr. Douche comes back with a pipe and then fucks Kane up a little.
Yeah. But yeah, didn't like maggots pop out of his head or something?
Yes, that was disgusting.
Yeah.
Now we know why the flies are constantly buzzing around him all the time, because flies nest in his head and there's maggots coming out and it's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, but like that was from the gunshot wound that happened to him like 4 years ago. Like, motherfucker, if you have a wound for 4 years in your head that has maggots in it, you die.
Well, actually, no. Here's the thing. No. This makes sense. Maggots are used in therapy. Maggots are used to cauterize wounds because they eat the dead tissue and leave the live tissue alone, so the live tissue can grow back and heal the wound. This makes sense, but it doesn't make sense 4 years after the fact.
Exactly. That's what I was getting at. Like, maybe if it's like in the moment, but 4 years later, fuck that. This movie's dumb.
Let's just wrap this up. The climax of the film happens with the last three remaining survivors, which are Mr. Douche, the tough guy, and I think the cross girl.
Yes.
Okay.
It's Mr. Douche, black girl, cross girl, or red shirt girl.
So while Jacob's looking for them, they catch him by surprise. They knock him out a window. He holds on. He gets a pipe through the eye. And then he gets knocked off. He falls several fucking stories right through the atrium. And we see like a really graphic thing where like, the pipe catches him on one of the rungs. He twists and spins and falls fucking flat. And the pipe goes straight up through his head. And he's fucking dead.
Nope, a blade goes through his heart.
Oh, blade, my bad.
His ribs. His ribs kind of like just right the heart.
Never mind that. Like the glass.
He's fucking dead, which makes the fact that he came back in the sequel even more dumb.
Because horror movie cliche.
Yep.
He's not really dead.
58.
Okay, so the three kids, they start to walk out of the hotel, and the girls ask him, like, you didn't have to save us, right? Why didn't you just leave us there? And he goes, because I didn't want to walk out alone. And then credits. That's how the movie ends, ladies and gentlemen.
Sudden face turn for the douche. Yay!
Barely. Fucking barely. Or he admits that the only reason why he saved them is for his own selfish desires.
Yeah. That's like not even a face turn. That's just like, hey, that's like the gold star that says, hey, you're not as much of a douche as you could have been.
Pretty much. So let's wrap this up. So
nope, we can't wrap it up. Did you guys wait until after the credits?
Oh yeah, that's right. There's an after credit scene where it reveals he's like alive, kind of.
No. You didn't watch it, did you?
I remember. Okay, listen. When I saw this movie, I only saw it 2 times, and that was back in 2006. And the third time I saw it was a few days ago.
You didn't wait until after the credits to watch it again, though, because Kane is very much dead. You want to know what happens?
What happens?
Okay, first thing they do is they show Kane's lifeless body, and of course that's when you think, oh my god, he's still alive, OMG. And then the dog comes in, and there's a giant-ass hole in his head where the pipe used to be. And then the dog comes over, inspects Kane's head, and then pees in his eye hole.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry.
Fucking
I remember this from
brutal.
a different thing. My bad. That's what happened.
I will fully admit, as soon as the movie ended, as soon as I saw credits, I was like, "Bink, done here. Fuck this." No. But yeah. So, did anything else happen after the dog pissed on Kane?
Nope, that's literally how it ends.
Wow, that's amazing.
Let's wrap this up. What do we think about this movie starting off with Kalkos?
Look, as far as a slasher horror movie goes, it's fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But that's as far as a slasher horror movies go. And as far as slasher horror movies go, there is only one choice, and that's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's it.
Yes.
That is your one and fucking only choice. So, this movie has no redeeming qualities other than the fact that Kane does a very good serial killer, but that's sort of like rule number one of a horror movie. The other rules, like suspense, unpredictability, liberal amounts of gore, it only has 1 out of 3 of those. And the liberal amounts of gore, well, that's just fucking gore porn. If I wanted gore porn, I could go to the subreddit r/watchpeopledie. If I want gore porn, I can go there. I don't have to spend 70 minutes of my goddamn life watching a shitty WWE film. It's bad, but the worst part is that it could have been a lot better. A lot better. It could have been a horror movie cult classic, but it's not. As of now, do not watch this movie. Do not buy it. Do not watch it, even if you want to have a little bit of fun. It's just not good.
Yeah, there are other WWE, like, there's better WWE films. That should say something. Like, this isn't even good by WWE film standards. It's just, look, I will admit, I don't really watch that much horror, slasher, gore stuff. It's not my thing. So going into this, I had kind of low expectations, and it really didn't meet any of them. It was just kind of, it was there and done with. There was some creative kills, but it was just kind of a nothing movie. Like,
Yeah.
And it's even more baffling that they turned this nothing movie into a nothing sequel. Like, wow, that takes effort.
The thing about this movie for me, I saw this, like I said, back in 2006, and I thought this was the coolest shit. I watched this movie almost 10 years later, and it is one of the shittiest horror movies I've seen in a long time. I cannot believe that this passed off as good back then. Calgos brought up points that there's like, it's not unpredictable. It doesn't have any like good like suspense moments. Granted, like they do an okay job with the build up towards the reveal, but the reveal itself is pretty fucking stupid. The gore, I've seen better gore in fucking Saw than this. I've seen better gore in like fucking independent
you saw
projects
better
than
gore
this.
in Saw because Saw is fucking great. Specifically the first one. You can forget the sequels. Maybe you can watch the second one. But the first Saw is a horror movie classic, and I recommend it to everybody with a brain.
Pretty much, yeah. I'm a huge Saw fan.
I watched the first Saw, and I was like, this is why I don't watch horror films. You suck.
So
I
the
mean,
reason
it was good, but like,
Yeah, the reason that we reviewed this is simply because it was WWE's first ever major film, and it just so happened to be a horror movie, so we figured, hey, this might be fun to review. Guess what? It wasn't. It fucking sucks. Are we all in agreement?
they are all in agreement.
Fuck yes.
This movie.
I'm sorry, this episode is a little short. It's only running at about 40 minutes right now, and it's probably going to go way down after editing. But as far as this movie
filled
goes,
in with like, oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. At this point, I'm just rambling, trying to make sense of this movie. I was expecting something entertaining, at the very least. I was expecting to have not wasted my time. I wasn't expecting Lawrence of Arabia, okay? Which, for the record, is my favorite film of all time. It's 3 hours and 47 minutes of excellence.
Jesus.
Yeah, no, it's fucking a long-ass movie, and I want you both to watch it with me at some point. Bobby, you can come along, too. But this movie, though, it just got dumber and dumber and dumber and dumber. Like, the opening sequence had so much promise, and they just threw it out the window immediately. Like, the instant they introduced the douchey teens, I was like, well, here we go. I need a Smirnoff and a kick to the fucking balls.
No, I guess we can end this by saying, like, horror movies, I guess in terms of this seems like the shitty standard for most horror movies nowadays, where there's just little to no effort. You just want to see somebody die. You just want to see the serial killer win. You want to see gore. You want to see blood. You don't give a fuck about the story, because certainly most writers of most modern horror movies today don't give a shit. And we can clearly see that in stories like Paranormal Activity or God, what was that movie? Apollo 18 or whatever.
Unfriended, I think.
Oh God, Unfriended was fucking terrible.
I had hopes for it. I mean, it's an interesting format in that the entire movie takes place in a Skype call. That's really innovative. I think that's a really cool idea. I haven't seen the movie, but and in a way, I kind of want to. But from what I've been hearing, it's just not worth it.
Have you guys seen Annabelle?
Annabelle was fucking weird. That was that Conjuring spinoff thing.
Yeah,
stupid.
There was one scene in that movie that just like made me laugh audibly, like I was watching it in the theater and I just laughed my ass off, and that's like the only reaction I had to the whole movie. It was weird.
To end this on a good note, however, WWE has made a few more horror movies or psychological horror movies later on, but there is one good horror movie that they made, and I honestly think it's one of the best horror movies I've seen in a long time. Any of you ever hear about a movie called Oculus?
I've heard the name.
Oculus is a horror movie they did about a year ago. It has Karen Gillan, who you may know as Amy Pond from Doctor Who, and it's a movie about a mirror, a haunted mirror, with spirits in it that has these the brother and sister duo trying to figure out why this spirit in the mirror killed their mother and made their dad go fucking crazy. And it's a great movie that shows two stories going on at the same time. One, how they get rid of the mirror, and two, how they deal with having the mirror back and trying to figure out what caused it. So it's two stories going on at the same time. It's a really good WWE horror movie, which is fucking better than whatever this is. So I recommend this Halloween, if you're looking for a good WWE horror movie, look at Oculus. I recommend it.
Or, I mean, if you're looking at a good horror movie, you've got a million different choices. You have the all-time Hitchcock classic Psycho, which by today's standards is pretty tame, but if you want to see, like, the godfather of psychological thrillers, you got that right there. You have Poltergeist, which is a Spielberg classic. You've got, of course...
Did they remake it?
I don't know if they remade it. I hope not, because the original Poltergeist is good fucking fun. You got the Friday the 13th, of course. You've got A Nightmare on Elm Street. You've got Halloween. You've got Scream. You've got Silence of the Lambs. You have The Dentist. You have
Wait, The Dentist? What?
The Dentist. It's a horror movie about a dentist. And it's actually really fucking terrible, because he's all about ripping the teeth, and they get all the details and shit. Oh my God. It's legitimately scary because it's got a very great antagonist. There's another one that I remember. It's like one of the first rated R films from the 70s, and it had like a really tall... The villain was the Tall Man. If somebody in the comments knows what movie I'm talking about, please let me know. Because I actually kind of want to get my hands on that movie again and watch it, because I watched it with my dad. My dad's a big horror movie connoisseur from his teenage days back in the 70s and 80s, when horror movies were the best shit ever. But nowadays, of course, horror movies are incredibly formulaic, and they're just there to get money from teenagers, and I think that's a goddamn shame. However, we do have a long library of horror films that you can choose out this Halloween. You also have a lot of great scary games like Clock Tower, Silent Hill, The First Hour of Doom 3. Yeah,
Alien
just the first hour.
Dead Space, etc.
Dead Space, definitely. So there's a lot of choices. Just don't pick this.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, if I actually may recommend, now that I think about it, just remember, there were three more horror movies I can quickly recommend. John Carpenter's The Thing, The Thing 1982. My personal favorite horror movie. You have The Babadook, which was last year, which was fucking terrifying, and 2012's Cabin in the Woods, which is made by Joss Whedon, who made The Avengers, and it has Thor in it, and he gets fucked up. It's hilarious.
I have not seen The Thing. As a matter of fact, thank you. I'm gonna put that on my list of films to watch.
Oh, dude, John Carpenter's The Thing is some of the scariest sci-fi shit you'll see. It's brilliantly done. The effects look terrifying. It's more convincing than any of the CGI shit they'll try to throw at you. It's really good.
All right, just to end this and to get the runtime going a little bit longer, just off the top of your head, and I'll give you a minute to think, what underrated or movie that people kind of missed or forgot about would you recommend that people watch as soon as possible?
Like horror related or WWE related?
Anything.
Oh, if it's a horror movie, that'll probably help too. I need to think.
It doesn't have to be a horror movie.
Well, if we're talking about since we're talking about horror movies, I figure why not.
I actually have one that was WWE and horror. You remember The Call?
That's?
Yeah. I thought that was like the one with Halle Berry, and she's like the 911 operator. And
oh yeah, that.
Like that was a not bad movie. It was like kind of scary, and it had, I think David Otunga was in it.
Well, if we're gonna keep the horror movie thing going, I'm gonna mention a movie that a lot of people may have forgotten about, but it's a great great horror film that was very big back in the day, but a lot of people have kind of forgotten about it. Hellraiser.
Oh yeah,
Hellraiser.
Your suffering will be legendary even in hell.
I love Hellraiser.
Hellraiser was a great movie, and then it spawned a bunch of shitty sequels.
The second one was all right.
Oh, okay. I got one. Okay. So this is an underrated horror movie, but it's incredibly fucking stupid. And I actually, now that I think about it, it doesn't fit Halloween, but it fits Christmas. And when I say Christmas horror movie, I think somebody should pick up on what I'm going with.
Come on, I know what you're talking about. Fuck. Come on, Christmas.
Jack Frost.
Oh, what? Oh, no.
Yes, that was a good horror. Jack Frost, the horror movie, is one of the stupidest horror movies. Nobody talks about it.
Dude,
yeah, we talk about it for no reason.
Dude, a fucking snowman that kills people. No.
You're better than this, Toon.
No, I love it. No, I even love the sequel, which is the Attack of the Mutant Killer Evil Snowman.
Damn you.
I love that. I love it.
Underrated movie that people may not have seen or forgotten about that isn't horror related. Go.
Okay, isn't horror related.
Okay. Speed Racer.
No.
Yes, I remember Speed Racer. That was some stupid shit.
That was stupid and fun, and fuck you.
No,
fine.
I
Your
totally
choice
agree.
is Speed Racer. Fine.
I will give you that. Like Speed Racer, I do remember it was really fucking stupid though.
It was. I'm not gonna lie. The entire premise of Speed Racer as an IP is stupid, but goddamn, that was fun.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go next because Toon, I think. Do you still need time to think?
No, wait, no. I remember. Okay, I remember an underrated horror movie that not a lot of people talk about. Legit, Death Proof.
Oh, that's not a horror movie, but that's good. Quentin Tarantino and Kurt Russell, right?
Yeah, it's part of Grindhouse, so I figured,
Yeah, it is part of Grindhouse, but it's really not a horror movie. It's a movie.
Wait.
Yeah, it's not a horror movie. The first one with the girl with the fucking machine gun on her leg, that's more horror than anything.
Well, you did say that we're not talking about like horror stuff in this.
Yeah, but Toon said it was horror. However, Death Proof. Here's the thing I think about Death Proof. The movie wasn't too great because Quentin Tarantino is all about long scenes where people talk and they bullshit, but it's always interesting bullshit that they're talking about. Not in this movie. It feels very contrived and they're just talking about nothing specifically to get the runtime going. You watch Death Proof for one reason and one reason only, because the ending scene has a car chase. And the car chase is, without a doubt, the greatest car chase in the history of films. Better than Blues Brothers, okay?
Fuck you, no.
No. I fucking disagree on that.
Really?
Yes, really.
Blues Brothers is my shit, okay?
It is.
Okay.
All right,
Brothers
fine.
is-
All right. If you want, okay, being legit, being serious, okay, there is one horror movie that
Doesn't have to be horror.
Okay, well, okay, I joked about the Jack Frost thing. Okay, I'm
Fine.
being legit serious now. Legit serious. A horror movie that not a lot of people talk about is Trick or Treat.
Probably because I've never heard of it before.
No, Trick or Treat is actually pretty good. It actually focuses more on Halloween, and the main killer of it has like a fucking pumpkin head.
By the way, if any of you pick Hocus Pocus, you're fired.
Right.
Hocus Pocus is not as great as people make it out to be.
Yeah, I don't understand why. Maybe it's because of blind nostalgia, but it's good if you're 10.
By the way, going back to the Death Proof thing, I thought that was a Robert Rodriguez thing, not a Quentin Tarantino.
No. Is it?
No, Robert Rodriguez did the other movie in the Grindhouse double feature. Quentin Tarantino did Death Proof.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, and it only reminded me of that because Lucha Underground is coming back.
If you are wanting a Quentin Tarantino horror action movie, From Dusk Till Dawn is not a bad choice.
Yeah, that's a
That was a
good.
good one.
Yep. As far as
You really can't do it wrong with anything in the Quentin Tarantino library. Like everything he touches is fucking a master. Well, not a masterpiece, but
well,
everything
not
he
a
touches is
masterpiece, but at
good.
least worth watching.
Yeah.
As far as me, like, the thing is that I don't like a lot of sports movies, because a lot of sports movies are very contrived underdog stories, and you know exactly what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, and it's all very contrived with a super happy ending. Remember the Titans, anybody?
Mm-hmm.
All right, that movie has not aged well. Okay, I know, I get it. It was a landmark movie that spawned a lot of other copycats like Radio and Glory and Miracle on Ice or whatever, or just Miracle.
Same old shit.
My favorite sports movie is Moneyball.
Moneyball was good.
I
fucking
remember Moneyball.
love Moneyball. A lot of people I know haven't really heard of it. It stars Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill.
And it's fucking good. Like, it doesn't end the way you would think, but that's because they got a lot of the facts right in this movie. Sure, a lot of it's exaggerated for dramatic purposes, but a lot of the radio broadcasts and a lot of the television appearances and other shit like that is all real, which means it ends true to life, and it is fantastic, and I highly recommend that anybody who is interested in underdog sports movies, you should go watch it because it's great.
Yeah. Like, I kind of knew about the source material going into Moneyball, so I kind of knew how it was going to end. So, like, what happened at the end was like, oh, okay, yeah, that happened. That's accurate. I'm cool with that. But yeah, Moneyball was fantastic, and it dealt with a side of sports that you don't normally see, because normally it's from the athlete's perspective. And for the first half of Moneyball, it was basically through the GM and his assistant. At the second half, it's basically all about Chris Pratt. But yeah. Oh yeah, Chris Pratt's in it.
Wait, Chris Pratt?
Yeah, he's the guy who had to play first base.
I didn't even recognize that. I'm gonna have to watch it again and
That
be
was
like,
fucking Chris Pratt.
Okay,
That
because
was
I'm enjoying this conversation. Just one more favorite Jackie
Okay.
Chan movie. Go.
Oh, fuck me, god damn it!
I already know what mine is. So
the first Jackie Chan movie I ever saw was like the Medallion. That was the first one that I saw.
okay, that's an awful choice.
I know, because then I actually went back and looked through Blockbuster. Remember Blockbuster? That was a shit. Anyway, no, I remember I went back, I looked through all the martial art movies, and I found Rumble in the Bronx.
That's a good choice.
Yeah, that was the one I was gonna say, because like I had that one I had like a little DVD player in my room, and that was one of the few movies that I was able to buy, and it was that was a good one. I like that one.
I kind of liked the Tuxedo, but maybe that was just because
Tuxedo
I found it
No,
was
that's
incredibly
bad
stupid.
too. Basically, anything past Shanghai Noon, other than the Karate Kid remake, because the Karate Kid remake, everybody thinks it's stupid because it's a remake of an '80s cult classic. No, it's
But it's
better.
good.
That's
It's
right.
better than the '80s cult classic. Everything that holds the remake down is because they had to do it because of the '80s cult classic. It's good.
Yeah.
But my favorite Jackie Chan movie is fucking Legend of Drunken Master.
Yes.
That final fight scene is the greatest fight scene in all of movie history.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
so hard to find a good martial arts movie nowadays, because like wasn't the last great one like what was it, The Raid?
Well, it's hard to find a good action movie nowadays because I'm gonna send you a YouTube video of the series Every Frame a Painting, and it's a movie that explains how Jackie Chan films movies and the reason why American action movies are fucking shit nowadays. All right,
Not all of them are shit.
no, they're awful, and a lot of them is because a lot of them like utilize jump cuts on every single hit. It's because you can tell that the actors and actresses can't fight, so it just looks like a bunch of people flailing about. They don't use the proper show the move twice, once in wide and once in close motion. Like, I'm gonna send you the video, and you're gonna realize that every single American action movie from like the year 2000 on is awful.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I'll give you that.
yeah, like I'm very big on Jackie Chan movies, even though Jackie Chan in real life is a big prick. Like you'd think that he'd be like a hero in China, but no, he's very vilified there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
By the
always
way,
prefer Jet Li more personally.
yeah. But by the way, if you just want to watch some good action movies, just watch the El Rey Network. Like, if you have the El Rey Network, just watch the El Rey Network. Cause,
Actually,
like,
yeah, like the El Rey Network is very underrated. Like, even though they don't have a lot of original programming, it's definitely one of those networks that you want to have on if you're bored and you want to watch something interesting, because there's always something good playing on the El Rey Network. And
there's always some like classic Jackie Chan movie or like some just weird grindhouse kind of thing. Like Robert Rodriguez knows his shit. Robert Rodriguez is so cool.
Roger
Yeah.
Rodriguez.
You shut your face. You know what I'm talking about.
But yeah,
Robert
anyway,
Rodriguez.
we all love movies. Hell, we could turn the Haymakers into a movie group if we wanted to, honestly. But we love wrestling too much to give this shit up. But anyway, see no evil. Don't even fucking see it. Go see Oculus instead. Go see any of the movies we recommended, because you're guaranteed to have a better Halloween if you watch anything but See No Evil and the sequel. They can go fuck off. Yeah, so as usual, thank you guys for being here. Go check out our Twitters, our Patreon, which is basically dead, and yeah, have a good Halloween. It is good to have one of these movie reviews again. And also, the next movie review we're doing, it is going to be The Wrestler. That is one we've been putting off for a very long time, but it will be done. I promise you that. And hey, you know what? For Christmas, we're going to have a great little movie celebration there too. We're going to watch The Christmas Bounty, and we're going to watch Jingle All the Way 2, and we're going to watch all these shitty Christmas movies together, right, guys?
And kicking you out of the group now.
All
Thank
right,
you.
see you all later. Fuck Toon, he's out.